Hello, in today's video we're ranking the Hokage by how I feel about them. We're going to have all the Kage on this apart from Danzo. Let's get started. So at the 7th spot we have the 3rd Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi. The only reason he's solo is because we hear so much good things about him but we never actually see it. And also how he raised Naruto. But speaking of Naruto, he did keep his father's identity classified so no one really found out, so he didn't have enemies. He did also try to keep the fact that Naruto was a Jinchuriki classified too. And I do feel like as a Kage alone he just get outshined by all the other Kage. Also in the War Arc we didn't really get to see him a lot. That also brings me back to the point how he's meant to be so strong but we never actually see it. Granted, in the War Arc he did fight the Buddha statue thing with the 5 jutsus, and I do feel like that was a cool moment, but I do feel like it would have been a perfect time for him to show his power in the War Arc, since the only time we get to see him fight was against Orochimaru, and since he was old he was lacking in chakra, but since he's reanimated now I do feel like it would have been a perfect time to show him off. He does also have one of the best summonings in the verse, being the Monkey King Emma. It's also one of the coolest summoning jutsus in the verse, being it's a monkey and it's a staff what can extend. He's the only person who we see with that summoning too, and I do wish we got to see more of that summoning, and since he was meant to be one of the strongest Hokage I do feel like they could have done a lot better with him. So next up at number 6 we have the 2nd Hokage, Tobirama. I do think he is a cool character. I do like how he did have a rivalry with Izuna, like how Hashirama did with Madara. I do feel like they should have done what they did with Madara and Hashirama, like having be friends first. I feel like it would have made it a lot better. They could have also tied to him hating the Uchihas. And I do find it cool how he is like the creator of all the jutsus in Konoha, which for example he did make the Flying Raiden, which is one of the coolest jutsus in the entire show. One of the other jutsus that he made was another big one, being the Shadow Clone Jutsu, and of course he did create the reanimation jutsu, and if used correctly they're some of the strongest jutsus in the entire show. He is also one of the only people we see who actually mastered water style, which isn't anything really special, but since he is from the land of fire I do find it special. And what's funny, he's probably only mastered it because the Uchihas use fire style. It was kind of a letdown in the War Arc for me personally, since we didn't really get to see a lot of him. So next up at number 5 is the 5th Hokage, Tsunade. The only reason she's above Tobirama is because everything she has is unique to her basically. Like the 100 Season Jutsu, which we only see her and Sakura use in the entire show. I also feel like the jutsu is really overpowered too, since you can basically get hit from anything and survive. That's not even mentioning how strong you are with it too. It's not just a healing jutsu to it, it's also her summoning jutsu, which only her and Sakura know. And power aside, it is probably one of the best summons you can have, since it literally heals you. And of course she is a part of the legendary signing, which is also really cool. I do also like the fact that she is one of the first people to believe that Naruto would actually be Hokage. And of course she is the first Hokage's granddaughter, which is just cool by itself, since she is a Senju. And I do feel like it would have been cool if she knew Wood style too. There is also a high chance that she's Minato's mum. I don't know if anyone else believes that, but I do. So next up at number 4 is the first Hokage, Hashirama Senju. The Hashirama is literally a cheat code to be strong. If you have his styles you are strong, and I do find that cool. His natural regen is also way better than the 100 Stealing Jutsu, which I find funny because I was literally hyping that up earlier. He's also strong enough to solo any little tail beast at once. He also has Wood style, which basically no one else has. I do feel like Wood style is one of the more unique jutsus in the verse too, and I do wish we got to see more of it. I do also like how him and Madara like Sasuke and Naruto. So next up at the 3rd spot is 4th Hokage, Minato Namikaze. He is one of my favourite characters in the whole of Naruto. He's also the sensei of Kakashi, which is one of the best characters in Naruto in my eyes, and he's also the father of Naruto, who is also one of my favourite characters in Naruto. He's also important to the story I think personally. He has mastered one of the coolest jutsus in the entire verse, being the Flying Raiden. He did also technically create the Rasengan. I mean, I think it is one of the best jutsus in the world, and I mean, imagine if Minato had time to master it. He also has the summoning jutsu being Toad, and he also has basically perfect Toad Sage mode. He also has one of the coolest nicknames ever, being the Yellow Flash of the Leaf. Personally, I feel like every single fight he's been in has been really good. Like when he hits the Rasengan on Obito, that was just static on. I also really like the scene where he puts the cloak on. He did also stop Naruto from going into Nine Tails mode in the Pain Arc. That was probably one of the most shocking moments in Naruto too. He did also do a decent amount in the War Arc, and it was nice to see him and Naruto fight together. He also had a KCM mode, which I don't think anyone was really expecting, and it was just cool to see. I feel like he is one of the best anime characters written ever, since there is nothing to hate about him really. And I do feel like if he didn't die so young, he would have been a perfect Hokage. I would have found it amazing too if we did get him raising Naruto. So next up at number 2 is the 6th Hokage, Kakashi. So Kakashi has been one of my favourite characters for the whole of Naruto, basically from the land of the Ways arc. And to be honest, I never thought he'd actually take the role of Hokage, since he doesn't really seem like that type of person, so I'm kind of shocked that he is on this list still. And also his nickname, the Copy Ninja Kakashi, is probably one of the best nicknames I've heard. He's also always been one of the strongest people in the verse, which I do find cool. We do also find out that he's actually a very deep character later on in the show, since he did think his best friend was crushed by a rock. You also have the stuff with his dad, and I don't know if I can say the word, but everyone knows what happened to his dad. And he literally Chidori'd his other friend. And I did like how in that arc we did actually find out how he got his eyes. But all of that aside, he did come up with his own jutsu, being the Chidori. And again, I do also feel like this is one of the cooler jutsus in the verse. He also has his own summoning jutsu, being his dogs. Personally, I do find him cool, but altogether I do feel like he is a good character. Now on to the number 1 spot, which I am assuming everyone knows, it's the 7th Hokage, Naruto Uzumaki. He is also my favourite character in the entire show. Personally, I just really like how he went from being hated to being Hokage, and I do really like that story, and I like how we get to sit along and we get to watch everyone change their thoughts on him. But apart from that, I do also really like how he tamed Kurama. I do also like how he has Talk No Jutsu and he has that effect on people. I do also like all of the Kurama transformations, being like KCM, you got version 1 cloak, you got version 2 cloak, and KCM 2, you got Sage 6 path mode, all of that. You also have Baryon mode. I do also like how KCM is literally just a 9-tailed Jinchuriki thing. He also has a summoning jutsu, which isn't the best, but it's a lot better than you think when you just hear it, which is Toad summoning. And I do like how he did Master Sage mode, since he is one of the only people in the verse who actually has a perfected Sage mode. mode. He also has loads of types of Rasengans, and the only ones I'm going to mention here is the Rasengan Shuriken and the Rasengan, and also Tailpiece Bombs. I do find it cool how Naruto was the first person to fully master the Rasengan. I do also feel like the Rasengan Shuriken is one of the best jutsus in the verse because it's literally a Rasengan you can throw with wind style, and the Tailpiece Bomb is literally just a Rasengan but bigger and stronger. I do find all of them cool, but I do prefer the Rasengan Shuriken since it is just fully Naruto's and no one else has it. And he also has Shadow Clones, which I personally feel like are perfect for him since he has so much chakra and you can also use them to train him. At the end of the day, I do really like Naruto's character development and everything since we do literally see him go from a kid to an adult and we get to actually see him grow up. I'm not on about looks wise either, I'm on about like mentality wise. And with that we are done, so please like and subscribe.